Hello and welcome back to another and actually the last Australia vlog here for 2024. I ended my trip in Sydney, but I actually spent one day in Sydney on the 13th because I went from Byron Bay to Sydney to then get to Canberra. So I spent the day doing a bucket list item for myself, which was to run across the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And it was actually my longest run of the entire year. I think I did about almost 8 miles, and I really had a great time. It was perfect weather, perfect temperature, and it was just something that I wanted to do last year. I just never had a chance to do it. So I'm so glad I was able to do it. Then in the evening, I did something else I didn't get to do last year, and that was to go to the Sydney Observatory. And they have tours where you can go with a guide and they show you the inside of the observatory, and then they actually show you a couple of the telescopes and point out some things in the night sky. So I definitely recommend checking this out if you have time. You can make ticket reservations online, but it is something that was just so cool, and I mean, if you're a space person like me, you definitely cannot miss it. So definitely check it out. It wasn't too expensive, and just make sure you do one of the evening tours so you can see the telescopes and look through them.
3 days later.
Good morning. I don't think I actually started the Sydney vlog, so I guess this is the official beginning, but good morning from Sydney, Australia. It is also my last week here in Australia. So I think I mentioned in the last vlog that I was in Canberra, but I left early, so I left last night. I got here to Sydney at about 9:30 last night. I'm actually in a private. I'm at the Wake Up, so I've done the trifecta. I've done all 3 wake ups, but I'm at the Wake Up in central Sydney. It's actually across from the train station. I just figured that was going to be the easiest. I've stayed in the Byron and the Bondi Wake Up. They've been fine, but I was able to snag a pretty cheap private room. Sometimes just, booking last minute, they have deals. So yeah, and then I slept for about 8.5 hours or 8 hours, 15 minutes, something like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm definitely in the center. I'm on the other side though, you can't see the train station, but anyway, I have about an hour until checkout. I was supposed to have a meeting right now, but she needed to reschedule, so that's fine. But yeah, I am officially in my last week. And I'm still kind of under the weather, but I am feeling a little bit better. So we're getting there. But yeah, today I am planning on checking out of here and then heading actually over to the Bondi branch, whatever you want to call it, of Wake Up. So Wake Up Bondi, staying there for the week. And then I'm hopefully going to do the Bondi to Coogee walk, because I haven't done that yet. I didn't do it last year. So I think I'm going to do that. And then I need to do a little work. I need to do a blog article. It was actually due yesterday, so I need to do it tonight. And then we'll see how I feel if I end up doing the activity tonight at the hostel or not. But anyway, that's the plan. I just want to say welcome to Sydney. It's the last week, and we're going to make the most of it, and then we're going to go home. But I'll be back in Australia. I kind of have an idea of when. It's not going to be like next April, It's not going to be like that, but yeah, because there's other areas of the world I want to explore. But anyway, I'm going to get the rest of the things packed, go downstairs real quick and eat, come up here, grab my stuff, and then check out, and then head over to Bondi. So once I dropped off my bags at Wake Up Bondi, I went on the Bondi to Coogee walk, and you actually can start the trail directly across the street from the Wake Up in Bondi, which is why I love staying there, because it's just so close to everything in Bondi. But it is a really nice walk all along the coast. They were doing a little bit of construction, and I also feel like they were doing construction last year when I went. But they were doing construction during certain points, so I had to go off the path a little bit. It was marked, but yeah, I had a little bit of a detour, but I really did enjoy this hike or this walk, even though it was a little bit overcast for most of it. But as you can see, the sun did finally come out right at the end. Okay, so I made it to Coogee Beach. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, that's the beach I'm on. So at the end of the trail, it was like almost 4 miles, so 6 kilometers. Very nice beach, and the sun is coming out. Yay! So anyway, I think I'm actually gonna walk back because the sun's out. It's still a little chilly and windy, but I think it's gonna be a nice walk back. So I'm gonna do that, which puts me back at the hostel like a little after 3, which is kind of late, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go to Woolies. I don't know if I'm gonna go to Woolies first and then shower, or if I'm gonna shower and then go to Woolies, but we'll see. And then, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go to the event tonight, because I'm still trying to get over this cold, but we will see. So anyway, but this is the end. This is the beach, and it's very nice. It's actually a lot quieter than Bondi, so yeah. Anyway, let's go back. The next morning I did a little bit of work, and I also, blew dry my hair, took a shower, all that, reversed that. And then I headed over into downtown Sydney to go to the Sydney Jewish Museum. And it was a really good museum. I'll explain in a few moments why I ended up going there twice, but it was a really cool museum just about Jewish history in Australia, and my particular interest is during the period of World War II, but I will say I did not get to finish the museum this day because there was something going on with the electric, as you can see in this clip. And I explain it further, but I did have to end up coming back another day to finish the museum. Hello. Okay. It is Wednesday, and I am here in the Botanic Gardens. I just put my hand in something. Here in the Botanic Gardens, I had a little bit of a later start here in Sydney, but I actually woke up fairly early to go for a run, but just kind of had a leisurely morning at the hostel. I washed my hair and blew dry it, just because I knew it wasn't going to dry quickly. But I'm in the Botanic Gardens now. I'm not sure if I said that. And I'm just chilling here for a bit. This is like one of my favorite places in Sydney, so I'll probably come back here, honestly, at some point this week. But I actually started my afternoon, I suppose, at the Sydney Jewish Museum, and it was really interesting, but I don't know if it was like transformer blew or something nearby got hit, but the power kept flickering on and off, and then eventually went off, so they were like, you gotta go. So they did give us a complimentary pass to come back. I am hoping I can do that because I did pay $18 to go in, so I'm gonna try to, I have some free days, so I am going to try to make it over there, but to finish, but yeah. So anyway, I'm just here in the Botanic Gardens. Probably going to stay here for about like half hour, and then walk over to the Opera House and sit there for like another half hour, and then honestly I'll probably just go back to the hostel. I'm still not 100%, which is frustrating. I would say I'm marginally better than yesterday. I'm still like operating at like 90%, so I'm like not in rough shape, knock on wood, but it's just kind of frustrating that I feel like this my last week here, and I'm really trying to go out at least one more time, because I really didn't go out in Sydney, so I would like to, but I did not do the hostel event last night, probably won't tonight. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. It is like pretty quiet, like the hostel. Definitely that like difference between June and July, from like June last year to July this year, really makes a difference. Some ways it's nice at night because it's quiet, minus the girls coming into a room and slamming the door. But it means like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as social. But I am hoping come this weekend, some people will be coming for the weekend, and maybe people will be a little bit more social. But anyway, that's where I'm at. You can kind of see some of the skyline behind me. But yeah, I'm just gonna chill here for a bit, and then move to the Opera House, and then go back to the hostel. Sorry, it's not super interesting. I'm just really taking Sydney as a time just to chill out, and I would have done that even if I was feeling 100% and I wasn't under the weather. But yeah, I kind of wanted this last week just to be like a chill week. I mean, I've been here, it's my 3rd time here, so I don't really feel like I have to do a ton, but we'll see what we get into. But yeah, just kind of revisiting my favorites and kind of planning for the future too, because I also need to start planning Europe. Surprise, surprise, that's where I'm going in the fall. I feel like I go to Europe every fall. Okay, maybe the 2nd year in a row, but still. But I don't really have anything planned there other than my flight to London, and then from London to Frankfurt, and then to Munich. Well, then I had to get to Munich. I know when I need to get to Munich. I have my hostel and Airbnb booked in Munich, and other than that, I have nothing else booked. So it's very open-ended, and I'm still trying to figure out where the heck I want to go. So, anywho, if you have any suggestions, let me know. But I have a feeling by the time this video gets up, I'm gonna be in Europe. So, anyway, that's what we're up to, and I will chat with you all later.
Joke's on yeah, 'cause I know I'm gotta prove it. Well, the joke's on yeah, 'cause I know I'm gotta prove it.
Good morning. It is Thursday, and I am here in, well, technically in Split. But basically I am doing sorry I'm talking quietly, there's someone like in front of me, but I am doing the Split to Manly Beach walk, Manly, what is wrong with me? Split to Manly Beach walk, which is about 10 kilometers, and it's very pretty. I actually think, so far at least, I enjoy it more than the Bondi to Coogee or Coogee to Bondi walk, because, I don't know, I mean, just look at this. This is such a pretty view. So anyway, I am just, let me clean this off. There we go. I am just going to enjoy my morning walking. I feel like I'm taking a lot of the last week of this trip just kind of to myself, for selfish reasons, and not vlogging as much, but still trying to show you certain things. But yeah, I wanted to visit Manly last year, but I just didn't have time, and I heard about this walk from another traveler. So yeah, it was quite the chore to get here though. It took about an hour and a half to get here, 3 buses and a train, but we're here, and I think the way back should be a little bit easier because I'm going to be leaving from Manly, going back to Sydney. So anyway, welcome, enjoy the day, beautiful weather, and I will take you along. The Split to Manly Beach walk, I personally preferred it over the Bondi to Coogee walk, just because it wasn't quite as busy, although it did get busy during certain parts of the path, but I found it to be a lot more beautiful, and it was just more of like a walk hike compared to just like a straight walk on concrete. So if you do have the time to dedicate to getting out here, because it is quite long to get out here from Bondi specifically, I definitely recommend it. And I would say if you had to choose one or the other and you had the time, I would go for this one. But it does take you through some beautiful parts and also through some very nice neighborhoods. And then you finally get to the beach. And I thought this was the beach at first, but actually this was the beach. You kind of have to go across the street and down a few streets to get to the actual beach. But it is really beautiful, and I definitely recommend it. And then afterwards you can grab a bite to eat before taking the ferry back over into Sydney. Then the next couple days, I just had some low-key days. So as you can see, I went back to the Jewish Museum because I wanted to finish it after not being able to finish it the other day. Despite what the video looks like with the lights here, it just goes weird on my camera. The electricity was a lot better. Then I also just popped into the Museum of Sydney because it was free. Personally, I didn't find a ton of stuff I really was interested in here, so I think I only spent about 20-25 minutes in here. But if you're looking for something free to do, I definitely recommend it. Then on Saturday, I just had an easy day, hung out at the hostel for a bit doing some work, and then I sat on the beach for a bit just to watch some of the surfers and the sunset. Good morning. It is Sunday. I'm here on Bondi Beach. Hopefully you can hear me over the wind and the waves. Might not be able to, but it is my last 48 hours here. I said hours right, but it's my last 48 hours here. I can't believe 3 months has gone by so quickly. But yeah, I mean, there are certain moments where I felt like it went by really slow, but I would definitely say like the last 6 weeks have gone by super, super, super fast. So I am sad to be leaving. I always find it difficult to leave at the end of a trip, but at the same time, I know I need to go home, A, legally for my visa, but B, like I know I've been here for 3 months. This is probably the longest trip, if not the longest trip I've been on. And I do have another trip with my dad coming up in a few weeks, and then I go back to Europe in September. So I do have stuff to look forward to, but it is pretty sad to, I am sad to be leaving here, but yeah, so it's just like I think it's more so like last night it's like the first time I got super, super anxious about leaving. And I think part of it is just because like, and this is no disrespect to my parents or anything, I love them, so if they see this, like, this isn't anything against you, but I think it's just going home because I live with my parents when I'm not traveling. I feel like I have all this independence when I travel, and then when I get home, I'm kind of like, I don't have so much independence. Like, I do, but like I don't at the same time. But yeah, I mean, I do have a lot I do need to get done in the next like 9 weeks. So it's not like I'm going to be sitting on my hands. I'm going to be doing a lot. But sorry, I'm watching the surfers too. I just really wiped out pretty bad. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just it's always difficult to end a trip, and I wish I could be excited to go home, like so many other people. Like there was a girl in my room who left yesterday. She actually left a few weeks early to go home to I think Ireland, and she was so excited to go home. Now, granted, she was here for a year, but yeah, I don't know. I just wish I could be excited to go home, but I seem like I never am. And again, it's nothing against my parents or anything. It's just, I think it's just that whole, I feel like I lose a little independence when I don't travel. Because I don't have my own place right now. So, anyway, maybe I will summarize those thoughts a little bit better later when I'm not as distracted by all the surfers and people walking around. But then I leave on Tuesday, barring no flight cancellations, which, well, by the time this goes up, this will be old news, but, currently, well, they had, like, the CrowdStrike meltdown, so I guess the flight that was going from LA to here got canceled, obviously, which then meant the next day, the flight from here to LA got canceled, so I don't think I'm going to be so lucky, you know what I mean, but, we'll see, but anyway, yeah, so I leave on Tuesday, and then I'm home for 9 weeks, and then I go to Europe. But then I also have like another like small trips, like a week, probably gonna be a little over a week, with my dad in August. Not sure if I'm gonna vlog that. We'll see. I have so many vlogs. I still need to edit 2 more Panama, Costa Rica vlogs. Cannot believe I'm just so far behind. And then I have so many of these videos. But anyway, okay, I'm done rambling. I think I'm gonna head out to the lookout and then chill out for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go to Lynn Park. And, yeah, so I think that's the plan for today. After hanging out at the beach for a bit, I went over to Ballast Point Lookout, which just offers another unique view of Sydney and the skyline, and it's actually really, really pretty, and the park there is really nice, so if it's a good day, I recommend doing that. Then one of my favorite things to do in Sydney, and it's kind of a cheap way to look at the harbor versus one like the really expensive ferries, is just to take one of the local ferries. And while you might not get the narration and everything, it's just a kind of a cool way to see the bridge from the water that's not too expensive. But I took the ferry over to Luna Park, and last year when I tried to go visit, I don't think it was open. And I didn't realize that if you want to visit, you can just walk in without paying anything. It's just they charge for various rides and games and everything. So I spent about maybe an hour just walking around, taking photos, just kind of taking in the atmosphere. I didn't really feel the need to do any rides or anything, but it was just a lovely way to spend an hour of my afternoon. Then I went across the Harbour Bridge again, went to my little lookout point, looked at the Opera House, and then I walked over to Sticky, and this is a place where they make the candy that has like little words or whatever in it. I think they were making this for a company because they gave us a sample at the end and I didn't recognize what the heck it said, but it was still really tasty and a fun way to spend your time. And then the ultimate plot twist happened. I can't make this shit up. My flight has been so severely delayed on Tuesday. I won't make my connection. So now I think I'm flying out on Wednesday. This happened last year, kind of a little different, but this happened last year. I'll update when I can. I'm gonna go play the lottery. I can't believe this happened 2 years in a row. After getting my flight information all sorted out and determining that I did have an extra day in Australia, I went out the next day to one of my favorite lookouts. Now you can kind of see where it is, but I'm not going to tell you the exact location because I stumbled upon it by myself, but I'm sure you can find it. But I did go to the hostel event that evening and my team won the game, so we got some free drinks. I'm sad to go home, but I also need to get better. This is like my tradition, I guess the second time I've done this, but it's my tradition leaving Sydney is to come here to the Opera House, and then the Harbour Bridge is behind it, to watch the sunset. So that's what I'm doing, and yeah, I will summarize my thoughts when I get back to the hostel. But I'm sad, but I think it's time for me to go home. I need to get better because everyone's sick, so I need to get away from people for a bit so I can actually get better.
Yeah, 'cause I know I'm gonna prove it. Well, the joke's on yeah, 'cause I know I'm gonna prove it. Well, the joke's on yeah, 'cause I know I'm gonna prove it. Alright, you're gonna have to excuse my appearance and the terrible lighting, but this is the end, I think, of this Australia trip. And it's really bittersweet actually to be leaving because I think if I didn't feel kind of sick, I wouldn't want to be leaving, but I kind of want to go home so I can get better and not be around so many people. But I cannot believe that 3 months has gone by. I feel like I say this on a lot of trips, not every trip, but a lot of trips. It goes by so fast. And when I first headed out on this trip, 3 months seemed so long, but now that I'm here, and technically I'm supposed to be gone by now, so I guess I got 1 extra day, but now that I'm here at the end, it just feels like I went by so quickly. But I look back on everything that I did. I started in Perth, going to Rottnest, doing my road trip, And then, going through the Northern Territory, doing my volunteer experience, seeing Uluru, and then going down to Adelaide and then doing the East Coast again. It's just, I knew I was going to go by fast, especially like once I got to the East Coast. But it's just, it feels like it was yesterday that I left. I don't know, in some ways I'm kind of glad I came back. Like I said last year, the same hostel that I am in, I'm at the Wake Up in Bondi. I said this last year, I'll be back. And I knew last year I was going to come back this year. Like I already knew in my head. And I know I will be back here. I do kind of know in my head when. It's not like 100%. Like I was like pretty dead set last year. But for my next trip, I'm like 95% sure. So I know what it is. I'm not going to say what it is. It's not this time next year. There's other parts of the world I need to explore. I have a trip in 9 weeks to Europe. That'll be a little bit different than other trips. But yeah, and then I kind of know where I'm going next January. So, but yeah, like it's kind of weird. I was at the Opera House and the bridge tonight just to see the last sunset, and it's just kind of weird knowing that I know I'll see it again, but it's not going to be for well over a year. So yeah, I don't know. I think this country has and will always have a piece of my heart. I feel like a lot of countries do, but I feel like Australia is definitely one of those big ones that has such a piece of my heart, and I'm gonna keep coming back. But for now, there's other places in the world I want to explore, and I'm really excited to bring you along with me. I know kind of the vlogs kind of dipped out towards the end of this trip. I'm gonna see what I can put together, but really the last few weeks, besides just feeling under the weather, I was really just trying to take it in and just live in the moment versus trying to get everything on camera. I feel like last year was a little bit more transformative, but maybe it's just because I was still kind of in this, like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but I guess I made a lot of mistakes along the way, like personal mistakes, things I'm not necessarily happy that I did or proud of, but I also did make a lot of good decisions, and I did grow. I think every trip you do learn something, and I think the biggest lesson, and I'm not gonna cry, I think I'm also just tired, but I think the biggest lesson I learned on this trip, oh my god, I haven't cried in so long, oh my god, okay, I'm not gonna do it, I'm trying to focus also, okay. I think the biggest lesson I learned is that I am worth it. I don't know, there were times on this trip where people made me feel less than, and I remember it's actually only happened a few weeks ago where something like that happened, and then I kind of was just like thinking, I'm like, you know what, like I don't deserve this, like I'm not the best person in the world, but I deserve better than how I'm being treated. And I think that's the biggest lesson I'm taking away from this, is that from this trip, because for so long, and I feel weird saying this at my age, 34, but and it's only just taken me now just to realize, but I think I'm worth more than I give myself credit for, and how I've let people treat me, and it's something I'm gonna work on back home, and just in life in general. And I think another weird thing I'm taking away from this trip is, for so long I have been like, oh, again, this is a little sappy, but like, oh, I don't need a partner, I don't need to find the love of my life. But I think deep down I actually do want to find someone. Like, I mean, I don't want to have a family or anything like that. That's not. But I think I do want to try to make a little bit more of an effort into putting myself out there. I guess in a romantic sense, I don't know, but yeah, that's still something I have to ponder, because there's also some things I realized on this trip that I'm like, oh, I have avoidance issues. So yeah, it was a good trip. It was a long trip, but it was a good trip, and I think I'm ready to go home. I could stay here longer if I was feeling better, but it is time to go home. I need to go focus a little bit more on my business, making money, finishing projects for clients, trying to find more clients, saving some money. You know, and I have like all the appointments like to do over the next 9 weeks, because I leave in 9 weeks. So yeah, I mean, I'll be busy. Like 9 weeks sounds like it's so long, but at the same time, I feel like it's gonna hopefully go by pretty quickly. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff I have to do in the next 9 weeks, and yeah. So this might be it. I might throw a couple clips from tomorrow in here, but this is it for Australia 2024. And I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes, but it was a good trip, and I'm so blessed to be here and to have done this. And thank you for letting me share a little bit of my journey with you, and I will hopefully get these vlogs up in a timely manner. But for now, it's time to go home, and I will see you all in the next vlog, whatever that is. And yeah, as always, remember to wander far and wander often. Catch you all later. I can't wait to tell you my next plans, and it's gonna be fun. So catch you all on the flip side. All right, well, it's been a good trip, but it's time to go home. I'll miss you, Australia, but I'll be back. I think I know what I'm gonna do it, but I'm not gonna say, just in case I change my mind. But thank you for the lessons, the memories, but it is time to go home. I'll always have a piece of my heart left here in Australia, but for now, let's go home and off to the next adventure.
So that wraps up my 3 months in Australia. Like I said, it was an incredible time, and editing these vlogs made me realize how much I truly miss it. So I cannot wait to go back, and I'm hoping to go back kind of still in the same timeline that I was thinking in this video. So you'll just have to stay tuned to see. But thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And as always, remember to wander far and wander often. Well, the joke's on all right, let's talk money. Australia is an expensive country to backpack in, and this year I wanted to give a breakdown of my budget. I want to talk about what my general budget was. So my grand total for overall spend was